Welcome to Corridos Visuales, Tradition and Innovation in LatinX Printmaking at Florida Atlantic University Galleries. Corridos Visuales presents the work of 10 Latinx artist printmakers with Cuban, Mexican, Puerto Rican, and Latin American roots, curated by FAU printmaking professor Joseph Velasquez. Before teaching at FAU, Velasquez operated a mobile printmaking project, traveling more than 200,000 miles across the United States, meeting numerous Latinx printmakers. More recent travels to Mexico and the Caribbean have introduced Velasquez to many more Latinx artists and their printmaking practices. Works in this exhibition share common passions and expressions made tangible through diverse, innovative use of printmaking processes, wide-ranging narrative voices, and bountiful Latin identity expressions. While we give you a virtual tour of the exhibition, let's introduce the various artists. Alicia Smith is a Chicana artist and activist who resides in Albuquerque, New Mexico. She earned her BFA with an emphasis in contemporary sculpture and printmaking from the University of Oklahoma and her MFA at the School of Visual Arts in New York City. Smith's work spans video, performance, printmaking, and sculpture. In her work, she relates to and reflects upon her mixed-race heritage, her relationship to the land and her body, and channels her ancestors. Smith seeks to dissolve romanticized tropes that deny indigenous women their complexity, while at the same time demonstrating their beauty and strength. Martín García Rivera earned a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree at the University of Puerto Rico in 1983 and completed his MFA at the Pratt Institute in Brooklyn in 1988. Since 1993, he has taught drawing as well as printmaking at the University of Puerto Rico. His principal medium has been the woodcut, for which he has won awards in Puerto Rico and internationally, including Sweden, Russia, and Slovenia. The human figure has always been at the center of his work, with racial, political, religious identity concerns, as well as human psychological states driving his art. Being one of this exhibition's older artists, he has an extensive record of solo and group exhibitions. Sergio Sanchez Santamaria was born in Tlayacapan, Morelos, Mexico in 1976. He graduated with a fine arts degree from La Esmeralda, Escuela Nacional de Pintura, Escultura y Grabado in Mexico City. As an artist, he works primarily in the field of relief printmaking. He is a master of wood and lino cuts, mesotints, and lithography. Although he follows the tradition of Méndez and Posada, traditional Mexican printmaking artists known for their social activism, he explores Mexican traditions, customs, and social-political issues with a contemporary sensibility. Leticia Ernestina Gomez was born in Corpus Christi, Texas, and continues to live and work in South Texas. Gomez earned a BFA degree in drawing and painting from the University of North Texas in 2010 and is pursuing an MA in Consciousness and Transformative Studies with a specialization in dream studies from John F. Kennedy University. Gomez draws upon the aesthetics of indigenous peoples, along with her ancestral heritage and cultural upbringing as a third-generation Mexican-American woman. In her work, Gomez blends imaginary realms, elements of dreamwork, spirituality, and the Mi'kmaq concept of two-eyed seeing. James Martin Mazorra is a Brooklyn-based artist originally from West Virginia who creates relief prints that include hand-drawn images as well as letterpress type. Mazorra gravitates towards printmaking because of its history of communicating to wide public audiences for both commercial purposes as well as political activism. Growing up in Appalachia as the son of a Cuban exile, Mazorra draws inspiration from his Hispanic heritage and the community he grew up in West Virginia to create pictorial narratives infused with large doses of humor. John Medina was born and raised in Corpus Christi, Texas, the hometown of Whataburger and Selena. He currently resides in San Antonio, Texas. Medina earned his BFA degree from Texas A&M University in Corpus Christi and his MFA from Northern Illinois University in DeKalb, Illinois. His artwork is influenced by Mexican folklore, Texas history, urban legends, pop culture, religious iconography, cultural traditions, breakfast tacos, and drunken storytelling. Medina has exhibited his work both nationally and internationally, including the main space and art space in San Antonio. In collaboration with the nonprofit arts organization San Antonio Cultural Arts and a National Endowment for the Arts grant, he produced the world's first stereoscopic 3D mural titled Visión del Futuro. Gatos Press is Alejandra Mares and Javier Moreno. They both graduated from the Universidad de Guadalajara in 2009, where they continue to reside. The pair began working collectively as Tres Gatos Press in 2017 after an exhibition and month-long residency in Cape Girardeau in Missouri in association with Catapult Creative Gallery. A year before, they had begun producing prints with a tortilla press, and through workshops and festivals they participated in, they invited the public to make prints using this simple printmaking method. They have continued this democratic mode of making art through workshops and public events throughout Mexico and the US, encouraging a wide array of people to experience self-expression through printmaking. Nissaira Leonard lives in Carolina, Puerto Rico. She is a multidisciplinary artist working in printmaking, photography, the body, and ceramics. She is studying for a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree with concentrations in sculpture and printmaking at the Escuela de Artes Plásticas y Diseño de Puerto Rico. She is the co-founder of Parceleras Afrocaribeñas por la Transformación Barrial, where she endeavors to create new spaces for art, decolonization, and anti-racist accessible education. She is primarily influenced by her experience, memory, and identity as a Black Afro-descendant, Puerto Rican, and Caribbean. Linda Lucia Santana was born in California's Central Valley and currently lives in Idlewild, California. She earned her bachelor's degree in printmaking with a minor in anthropology at the University of California in Santa Cruz and completed a Master of Fine Arts in printmaking at the University of North Texas in Denton in 2013. Later that year at Idlewild Arts Academy, she founded the print shop and became the first printmaking instructor. Between 2013 and 2015, Santana earned many honors, including being the Hispanic Women's Network of Texas Forward Chapter's featured artist, one of the 13 young Latina artists changing the contemporary art landscape on Huffington Post, and the first artist in residence at Creative Studios in Istanbul, Turkey, where she taught an international printmaking workshop. Virginia Diaz-Saiki was born and raised in the mountains of Peru. She moved to Denver, Colorado in 2005 and has made a home with her family in the Rockies. She holds a BFA in printmaking from the University of South Dakota and has completed printmaking graduate work at LSU in Louisiana. Saiki currently works for Colorado artist Duke Birdsley, printing editions of his work on paper at the Dark Horse Press and managing his painting studio. Her works encapsulates memories of growing up in the Andes, the characters, the masks, the dance, and the myths. Regional festivities of her native Peru continue to fascinate her. Both colonial and indigenous in nature, she identifies with the dichotomy of her origins and the contentions of living abroad. The artists present diverse interests, struggles, and themes relevant to Latinx artists, including but not limited to social and political themes and the importance of indigenous peoples and cultures in the Americas. Most of the artists create figurative works that blend representational realism with mythic and spiritual influences. Many of the artists push printmaking beyond the traditions of ink on paper through large-scale use of unconventional materials and conceptual and humorous strategies that critique commercial media, showing us the possibilities of worlds beyond our mundane realities.